Hi, everyone. Welcome to this edition of PGTips. I'm Gary in Stockholm.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Gary. I'm Paul in Barnsley. And we're going to be doing another set of Procreate tips that people are finding useful. And me and Gary are learning from this as we are learning about these new tips. What's the first one today, Gary?
So the first one is how to work with reference footage in Procreate itself. I've done things where, on the iPad Pro, you can put two windows side by side, but sometimes that takes up quite a bit of space on one side. For me, the right side, because I'm left-handed. But there's a reference panel where you can bring material right into your Procreate project. So that can be quite helpful. So let's take a look at how you do that.
Yeah, I'm keen to know about that because I don't know about that. Let's watch that one.
In this short tutorial, we'll look at how you can set up the reference panel. I find this really useful, and you can do it by going into the toolbar, then clicking on Canvas and pressing Reference. And you can see how that works. I can either take the reference that's on the screen, I can import an image. Right now I'm working on these soccer things, so I can bring in a picture and then use that to draw from. I can also do, there's the canvas itself, so you can get a different view of the canvas. Maybe you want to zoom in, and there's also this silly face thing, which takes pictures of you if you want, for some reason, to be on there. And I suppose you can record a video of yourself with your artwork mapped onto your face if that's interesting to you. You can clear this image that you're using as a reference, and then you could choose to import another one quite easily. And yeah, here's another image just to show you how quickly it works. It's very straightforward and easy to use. I do this quite a bit, and I have this mapped to a quick menu, and you can see that on my quick menu the reference is there, so I can just easily map that to that. Here I am showing you how to actually use the quick menu and to map it. First I turn on the touch function, I go over to the preferences, I click on that center one, and then I've chosen as my center in the bottom reference. So then I can easily just click on my quick menu and hit reference, and that window will pop up. And then if I hit that again, it will disappear.
Wow, that was really useful. Again, really practical. And you can tell it's practical because I realize how I've been doing my workaround with that, with copying images, pasting them in, having to move them about on screen. And as you say, split screen on an iPad, it really cuts down your workspace too much. You can assign that, as you've said, to one of your quick menus as well. So you've got the reference panel as one of your quick menu items.
Yeah, because otherwise you have to go up and select it as like a canvas item. But this way it just is like a click away and you can move right into it. So that's super helpful to have it as a quick menu. Definitely. One of the things that you're going to talk about is this idea of, like when you're working on a project, sometimes there's a lot of the project that you want to bring into the next project. And the question is, how do we do that? One thing that I've done before is to just copy everything and then start deleting things. But you've got a better solution for that, which you're going to guide us into, right?
Yeah, there's always workaround ways of doing any of these processes and techniques. But when I found out how to move a certain stack of layers directly from one image into another, but not the rest of the layers, then I thought, wow, let's try this. And it's quite unintuitive. It's not like any other software program I know about. So let's take a look at this. This is a great time-saving tip if you're working in Procreate. There's my gallery of images. Now what I've got here, top left, if we open that image up, is a little frog looking sad, and that is a new set of pencil lines that I want to replace the old ones with. So I'm going to go up to the layers, and all those layers, there's 5 different layers in that group. I want to take them into my previous colour artwork and use this line work. So press with your finger on new set of line work and drag it over your image. This is totally not intuitive. And if you don't know about it, it's quite magical. Go up to gallery, touch gallery so that this image closes down, open up your new image, the one with the colour artwork there, wait while that one is loaded in, then touch open layers, and now drag and drop those 6 new layers that you've been holding with your finger in midair. You'll see a little progress bar come up importing 5 items, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new layers have been transferred from one image into another in one fell swoop. That is a brilliant time-saving technique.
Great, Paul. The question I have is how, so you're holding it down while the other thing's opening. What happens if you like let go accidentally or something? Does it just disappear or?
It does. That's one thing you have to keep your finger on. You've got to drag the layers out of the layer stack. And then whilst you're holding it with one finger, open up or close down that image, open up the new image. Once that's opened up, you can just drop it onto that image. But if you want them to go in a particular place in the new layer stack, open up the new layer stack and drop them at the top of that.
Okay. Oh, great.
And it works by magic. But again, it's a lot of time instead of moving one across each time. Or as you said, copying a whole image and eliminating the ones you didn't want.
Right. Or copying one and pasting it in or something. Yeah.
So I'm all for these quick tips that save lots of time. You can then just get on with your work, that's why your gesture controls and quick menu idea was really good. If you're not sure about how many layers you've got in an image, then this final tip today is going to be about checking on that. If you've got a high-res image, you've only got, always you've got a finite amount of layers, haven't you? But if you've got a high-res image, sometimes like I've worked on A3 at fairly high res, and you might only have 12 layers to play with. If you're working on a smaller image with less resolution, you could have 100 layers. But there's a way to check and keep an eye on how many layers you've got available coming up so that you know whether you need to start compressing and collapsing some. So let's take a look at that one. Here's another quick little tip, but very practical nonetheless. If you've got an image like this one of mine where there are lots of layers open at the same time, let's go right down to the bottom. You can see I've got a group of layers called previous backgrounds. I've got another group of layers there that I've not yet titled, and yet another group. It is handy to title your groups like line foliage so that you know what's in there. Well, there are lots of layers open at the moment and you can't go on ad infinitum. So let's go up to top left to the spanner settings. Look for the bottom canvas information, and then all about the canvas is in this setting. So you can see it's 210mm square, but at 400 pixels per inch. That means there aren't going to be many more layers left for me. So I'll go down one more to layers. You can see there that there's a maximum layer available of 44, and I've already used 42 of those. I've only got 2 new layers left. So I really need to go back to my image and start collapsing some of these layers. If I'm happy with them, I can collapse them so that it gives me the luxury of having some new layers.
Oh, thanks, Paul. Yeah, I mean, the layer limitation can be a bit of a hassle. One of the things that I can definitely recommend if you're going to buy an iPad Pro and you're going to be using it for your professional work, to buy the highest spec that you possibly can, because that does affect the number of layers that you can get. If you have the bigger amount of RAM, especially in there, it does affect the actual number of layers, the maximum number of layers. So that's something that you could be aware of. You know, if you don't want it to be prohibitive, or as prohibitive less as possible.
Yeah, I'd not realised that either. I do keep wondering about getting the new iPad, but the one I've not got the first generation iPad. I think mine's the second generation. But obviously when the new ones come out, they make it sound like, oh, this is a must-have.
Yeah, but once you get using it, it's the same, right? I mean, that's the thing, very similar anyway.
Apart from charging the pencil on the earlier ones where you go in the end of the iPad and it looks really vulnerable.
Yeah.
The new ones where it's just magnetic stuck on the side of the iPad.
Oh yeah, way better, definitely.
So you and I are going to keep gathering new tips. We're going to try each other's tips and see how it speeds up our workflow.
Yeah.
From time to time, we'll keep sharing them with you.
Yeah, so we hope you find these useful, and we're really happy to explore them with each other, and hopefully we're sharing something that you can use yourself in your work. So thanks a lot from us.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.